Hey look, it's us, the horror power couple of YouTube, and this is episode 97 of I Know What You Watched Last Week, the Lucio Fulci Especial. Guess what?
What?
This is 57.3% volume rum. You know they say you shouldn't drink in the heat. It's not that hot today, so not 25, but a couple of days ago it was 35. You know, I ignore government advice, I ignore
Health advice?
health advice, yeah, and I thought,
General good sense.
let's up it from 40% already strong beer, and let's go for the 57.3% rum. And, you did it as well, so you can't judge me.
Okay, and now that we're done with your unpaid weird alcohol commercial thing,
I didn't mention the brand.
do you want to say anything about what we watched, or should I just name the titles?
Well, I
Lucio
think
Fulci.
I'm too drunk because I had a sip of this rum, so you better remind me of what we watched.
Okay, so in order of watching, we started with The City of the Living Dead,
Followed by,
The Beyond,
and finishing with.
The House by the Cemetary.
This is considered somewhat an unofficial trilogy, even though it doesn't have anything. The movies don't have anything to do with each other. Much like John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy, which is what The Thing, Prince of Darkness, In the Mouth of Madness. It's considered a trilogy.
You say that they've got nothing in common, but in my opinion, the first two films were very similar.
I think they were all pretty similar. And so, do you have an order then? Ready to go?
I think I do. I was going to give my third spot, the bronze, to The House by the Cemetery.
Was going to.
I am going
Right.
to.
So what you mean?
And second place, I think I'm going to give to The City of the Living Dead, which means that my gold goes to The Beyond.
I've got House by the Cemetery at the bottom. Second place Beyond, and top of the league, City of the Living Dead, which is the order which they were recording in. City of the Living Dead is first, followed by The Beyond, followed by House by the Cemetery. So I think we should just go in the order of which they start, which happens to be my order anyway. Watch order, yeah. Starting with City of the Living Dead from 1980.
And I think this was my first experience of Fulci.
No, you've seen Fulci movie before.
Oh, well, I take that back then.
Yeah,
But
I'll have to look up which one, but I'm pretty sure you would have done.
There is something really unusual about his style, and
Style for days.
a lot of it. I mean, first of all, if you want ridiculous gore, he's your man. And secondly, if you want to be completely left in the dark about many situations, he's also your man.
Yeah, these three films, and a lot of Italian horror in general, is forego storylines, forego narrative sense, and just get in with the imagery.
And
this
a lot
is what
of
I'm
the
trying to show to
reactions
you here.
of people around to certain events were just nonsensical.
It's much like David Lynch.
non-existent.
Life doesn't make sense, so why should my movies? But make a little bit of sense. Do you know, saying this was a trilogy, it would have worked, and there's no storyline really. If they had an overarching storyline of all three, here you are in the City of the Living Dead, this graveyard is this House by the Cemetery is this, and so forth, and it had a rounded thought, would have been 10 times better, wouldn't it? But instead they're just separate movies.
Maybe.
City of the Living Dead, 1980, from Dunwich all the way to New York City, and then back again. So a psychic called Mary, she dies while having a vision of a priest, Father Thomas, hanging himself in a graveyard. She dies during the seance, and these two things seem to open the gates of hell. This is the Gates of Hell trilogy. This movie is also known as Gates of Hell.
Okay.
So for some reason that has happened between these events. And it's up to then a psychic and a reporter to get to Dunwich before All Saints' Day
Yeah.
to stop the opening of the Gates of Hell. I didn't know that the All Saints had a day. They had a couple of hits, didn't they? Never Ever got to number one. Did that really rubbish cover of Under the Bridge by the Chili Peppers. But yeah, you learn something new with
They had
every
a whole
movie,
day,
don't you?
And
You
it would
do.
usher in a new dark age.
Cops are investigating this seance now pretty quickly. And there's a Snoopy journalist called Pete. He's hanging around because he thinks I'm up your hot scoop.
Yeah.
Might be a hot scoop here. And one of the cops is patronising the older, let's call her a witch who was doing the seance, patronising her, and then all of a sudden she mentions a 400-year-old book.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember the name of, and then just a fireball appears. What was that about?
I don't know. I really don't know. And it's inside. It's like an absolutely tiny, like, atomic bomb sort of mushroom cloud of fire. And it goes up and down a couple of times. And everyone's stunned. And then the cop just sort of walks over and is like, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah, even
Good
though
luck with that
cop, the patronising cop, we don't see him again. And also, Pete, he's going to take over, isn't he? You don't need the cops when you got Pete the journalist on the job.
Yeah, well, they're much better at finding things out.
So we've actually had a fireball, right? We've had Mary die during seance, had a priest hanging himself in the graveyard, which has opened the gates of hell, by the way. As Leo Fulci got some unresolved issues with his Catholic upbringing. Because, a father, a priest, is like, he's a shepherd of his flock, supposed to protect his people, and yet here he is bringing them hell. That's something to think about, isn't it?
Yes.
Religion brings hell.
I mean, I also feel like it's kind of the epitome, because I'm pretty sure in the priest's religion, you're not supposed to off yourself. That's like a big no-no,
Of course
isn't
not.
it?
No. And we don't even know, because I said there's no story if he's been possessed, if he's just sad, why he's done this, really.
I feel like he did it with intention of opening the gates of hell.
More importantly in this movie, though, it moves on from that scene. And we're outside a windy house. It's really windy, because I feel like the earth is decaying. That's what we're getting here, because the dead are going to rise from their graves. And there's a guy called Bob, and he's walking through the wind, and he goes into the house. Walks around the corner. There's a fireplace. He kneels down. What's in the fireplace? A deflated blow-up sex doll, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Which brings up a lot of questions. 1, has Bob been to this house before? 2, does he know that sex doll is indeed in the fireplace? 3, if he does know, is that where he keeps it?
I was going to say, that's just where he keeps it. But no, because when he picked it out, he didn't seem to know what it was, and he, chucked it to the side, and somehow it magically inflates itself, and then he turns around and he sees this inflated sex doll, and he kind of walks over and is like, It was weird.
Yeah, I feel like he's done this before, because all it took was one quick fling of the sex doll, and
I didn't
here
know
it
they had
is,
that ability.
with the hole down there as well. And like you say, he does. He really likes his sex doll. He does get interrupted pretty quickly.
Yes.
Because he looks to the side and there's just this rotting corpse with maggots and worms all over it.
Yeah, I found this kind of bizarre though, because it was mostly worms.
What is...
I was like, where are all the maggots
We
at?
watched Strip Nude for Your Killer, which is also an Italian horror film. And there was a larger character in that, and once he gets turned down by some woman, he goes around the corner in his house and just brings out a blow-up sex doll, an inflatable sex doll. Is this an Italian thing? They comfort themselves with sex dolls? Because Bob is not in the best part of his life, is he?
No.
No.
Not.
Was this a comment on something? What was Fulci saying here?
Well, I do feel like the Italians are known for their, sexual natures.
Are we stereotyping?
Yeah, but
an
they're
entire
stereotyping
nation
themselves
now?
Because they're the ones who keep putting blow-up dolls in their movies.
That's problematic. Yeah, we cut to some guys in a bar. They're just having a chin wag, barflies. And they bring up Bob, and apparently Bob's mother wasn't married, had no morals, and was a witch. So maybe that's why he's a little bit weird. We're now introduced to Jerry. Jerry the doctor.
Right.
The bearded guy, middle-aged
Yeah.
bearded guy. And he's having a session. Sandra is on the couch. She's got daddy issues. They're halfway through this while she's moaning about men. All of a sudden, the door opens. It's Emily, Dr. Jerry's assistant/lover. And guess what? She's 19. And guess what? Jerry is not 19.
I was
Jerry's got to be 42.
so confused. by
Jerry's about
this.
42 years old.
When she first walked in, I thought it was his daughter.
No.
And then they kind of started interacting a bit, but then she was talking about going to see Bob. So I was like, is this still the daughter telling her dad that she's going to see her boyfriend? But then she kissed him at the end, and I was like, wait, I think they're supposed to be a couple.
Yeah, because they had plans. Dr. Jerry's irked. He's like, oh, you're going to see Bob again? He's like, don't worry. But, she's 19 and got to live her life,
So
hasn't she?
weird.
And women are attracted to bad boys and weirdos, and Bob is pretty weird. Turns out, though, that Emily is like Bob's social worker. So
Okay.
if she does fancy him, that's inappropriate. But maybe she's learned from Jerry that this is how the medical profession works. Also, who did I say the girl was on the... Sandra is on the couch. You can tell that, because she's got the daddy issues, Jerry's a bit older, she's also attracted to Jerry. She was irked when Emily walked in, I found.
she?
That's what I found, yeah.
Okay.
And
I didn't get that.
They have a bit of a chin web together. And like Sandra's like, why do men have to make life so difficult for women?
It's a good question.
And then there's a cat attack. A cat just attacks Sandra briefly.
Yeah,
it's like
she
the
had this
fluffiest,
cute
cutest
little
cat.
kitten on her
Yeah.
lap. Oh, baby.
We had a blow up doll.
Yeah.
Now, after Mary, the seance lady, has died at the beginning,
Yes.
we're now at a graveyard. There's 2 grave diggers. They're having lunch, but one of them's thought, I'm not that hungry, but I am thirsty, so I'm going to get out my porno magazine and just sit in this grave while I peruse the naked ladies. And like his mate who's eating a sandwich, it's like, you're going to have real problems where you are, because guess what? Once, I saw a porno flick where this guy got so carried away, he humped himself to death. Too much of a good thing, I guess. Yeah, but what a way to go. Just why not have that conversation in your horror film?
It was clear, though, that Lucio was trying to make a serious point with these guys. They were just so unbothered by the death around them.
Is humping yourself to death a good way to go?
I mean, I would probably say it's one of the better ways.
Would you like to be humped to death then?
It's not the way I would choose.
If you had to
go.
choose one of us to go during humping, who would it be?
I guess I'll let you die happy.
It's the way I want it to be. Yeah, of course. Journalist Pete, he's hanging around. He's chewing a cigar. That's what journalists did back in the day. And they have like a little conversation. He's trying to bribe him to say, tell me what goes on here kind of thing. But before they can finish filling in the grave, it's quitting time. So they walk off. And journalist Pete thinks that he can hear some scratching and noises coming from the casket in the ground. And after about 3 minutes of consideration, it stands there for a long time, chewing his cigar, thinking, can I hear this? Why not just check straight away? But he does eventually go and check. He hears Mary. It's Mary from the seance. She's alive in her casket. Pete grabs a pickaxe and puts it through the casket and also almost takes her eye out.
Like 3 times in a row. This didn't seem like the smartest way to get her out. It's like, let me just take a pickaxe to the middle bit where your head would be laying.
It's not the only instance of this in these
No.
3 movies either, is it?
I know.
No, she gets out of the casket now because Pete saved her. She mentions this book of Enoch, which the witch at the beginning mentioned, and then Mary tells Pete of the city of the dead, where the gates of hell have been opened, and on midnight on Monday, not too long from now, it is All Saints' Day, and we've got to get to Dunwich. Sharpish. Dunwich, by the way, it said is a new town which is built over the original Salem.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, of course, there's a H.P. Lovecraft thing, so Dunwich horror. Merge. Emily, after blowing off Jerry, old man Jerry, she goes... No, not that. She goes looking for Bob, and wouldn't you know it, she's come to... it's not the Windy House, it's a garage/hideaway. Bob's in there whimpering. He hears some noises and he scarpers. Sharpish. Leaves her there, and out of the dark comes Father Thomas, and he puts his wormy dead hand down onto Emily and smothers her to death with a bunch of wet earth and worms.
That was disgusting.
Great look on Father Thomas as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing. All 3 of these movies had bits that were just genuinely gross, and it's hard to get that reaction from me. That was one of them.
Yeah, well, are you a fan of the Italian style of violence? The same thing will kind of happen in Suspiria's. It almost looks like paint's coming out of them rather than blood a lot of the time.
It's very fake, but it's so gross that it completely makes up for it.
And it's to be expected. It's to be expected. You know what you're getting. 2 nobodies, Rose and Timmy. They're parked in a static car. They're getting off of each other. Timmy really wants it. He's fondling and all that. But Rose, she thinks that she can hear stuff outside. So to put her at ease, Timmy says, I'm going to put on the headlights. And he does. And who's there? Father Thomas, hanging, glowing, looking at them. They both panic. Father Thomas has this power. And he looks at Rose, and all of a sudden her eyes start to bleed crimson. And before you know it, for ages and ages and ages, her entrails exit her mouth. How cool is this?
This bit was exactly, that was coming to my head again when I was like, it doesn't seem that realistic, but my God, it looks disgusting.
And she's really excreting stuff from her mouth there. I imagine kind of like
a whole
sausages
colon
and stuff
and
like that.
everything. What?
Yeah, I was thinking of more of what it was made from.
Oh, right.
Like parts of pig and stuff like that. Yeah, gross. Better breath smell afterwards. Timmy, if that's what I said his name was, he's like, he's looked at this, he's like, I don't want this anymore. He's trying to get out. Before he can get out, Priest comes up behind him and rips his brains out. And there's a lot of brain ripping in this from the back.
This is another instance of completely unrealistic looking, because it's like when they grab it to scalp or take the brain out, you get all this like bulging, gooey, bloody stuff. And I'm like, that looks disgusting and very unrealistic. Yeah.
Unrealistic, but cool. I don't need it to be realistic. Show me something stylish. Like I said, style for days. Style for days here. Pete and Mary, right? So journalist Pete and Back from the Dead Mary from the seance. They go out and about. Meanwhile, Emily's been found dead in the hideout. All the cops and Jerry and everybody, they suspect Bob. Jerry doesn't seem that bothered, by the way. He doesn't seem that bothered.
Can we also make mention of the fact
Where's he going to get another 19-year-old from?
That, but also a woman who's supposedly come back to life and just been buried out of a grave, and no one seems to react.
No, exactly.
It's like this is just common occurrence.
Once they decided that Emily is in fact dead and they don't know how it's happened, they just all look to the side and there's this wormy, slobby stuff on the floor. Lots of worms.
Maggoty.
Yeah, I liked all the worms because worms are disgusting.
Maggots are, one of the grossest things. Ugh.
Jerry and Emily's family, they're now at the funeral home. Emily's being prepped. So we know that she's gone, right? Now, blow-up doll enthusiast Bob, he's gone back to the Windy house. And something I really like about this movie is when Father Thomas introduces himself, he always goes... It's him hanging himself. He always drops from the ceiling in a noose. Cool. I don't think I know of any cooler way that characters appear in scenes
a way to
than
make
this.
an entrance.
Absolutely a way to make an entrance, and pretty grim. Yeah. As I said, Mary and journalist Pete, they're out and about now. They're on a road trip. They're heading to Dunwich.
Yeah, even though they don't know where it is.
They stop off at the side. They don't know. They stop off at the side. This is why, though, because they stop off to look at a map. So they've got the map out on the bonnet. It's daytime. Now, I don't know if I was just reading this wrong, but from the way it was filmed and from the way that Mary was acting, she says, "I'm hungry. Wanna give up?" And she looks down at his crotch. The camera's very tight on her face, and she's looking up at him, and then she looks down at his crotch. The camera then goes to him. He's like, "Oh no, I'm not really that hungry. You should work stuff out." And then I'll just let the rest of this scene play, and you can decide for yourselves.
Come on. Let's go have a snack someplace, huh?
Okay.
You, want to give up?
Look, why don't you get in the car and we'll go and check out the local cuisine?
Don't be upset.
Upset?
No, at the end, she's like... She wants him. She wants him. What? Were you not getting this?
I thought she was just hungry.
Hungry for what, though?
Sustenance.
Because she's like, I want to try the local cuisine. This is sexual. I've no doubt in my mind. You know, we can all read women. They're not complicated. She wanted it. There's a funeral home worker. He walks past Emily's prepared casket. He steals part of her jewellery. And I think she gets out and like bites his arm. So I know that she is back. She's back. And now I think this is the first time we've been introduced. He might have been in earlier, but Little John John. What a name, John John.
Yes.
You know Little John John?
Yeah.
And he's in his room. He is Emily's little brother. He's probably, 7, 8, 9 years old? I can't tell.
I can't tell either.
No. And he's in his bedroom and there's someone stalking outside. It's Emily. And she's all zombified. Superb makeup.
Yeah. And then when he tries to run and tell, like, the adults, "Oh, Emily's there and she's going to kill me," they're just like, "Nah, don't be stupid."
Of course they don't believe him.
I wouldn't believe him,
just Little
fair.
John John, isn't he?
Yeah.
Little John John. Sandra. Who's that? Sandra was the woman who was on
Daddy
Dr.
issues.
Jerry's Psychiatric chair, yeah, with the daddy issues. She's panicked at her house because she's seen a vision of a lady called Mrs. Holden who is also being prepped because she's brown bread at the funeral home. So she calls Jerry to the house because, like I said, she wants Jerry. Who's she going to call? The man that makes her feel safe. So Jerry, you know, because he's not too bothered about Emily's death, he's like, she's dead. Better move on. I've got Sandra here. I know all about her daddy issues. I'm way older than her. I can pray on this. Jerry comes to the house and he calms her by saying, don't worry, you're not crazy. You're just like 70% of all women, statistically anyway.
No wonder you love this movie.
Because this is the kind of stuff, it's like the blow-up dolls, the sexism is what has put this top for me. And this is what I expect from old school Italian movies.
Now who's stereotyping?
Much like strict type. Well, the evidence is there for us all to see. Even the new ones, I really like the movies of Zampagnoli, did The Well and Show Me Your Tulpa. And both of those movies as well don't really have much of a storyline, do it? Just get straight into the gore and stuff like this. Yeah, so he's carrying the torch. So the old dead woman from the funeral home. By the way, when he says you're like 70% of women, he also then makes a jibe at her drinking. She's also in therapy because she's got a bit of a drinking problem. So he's putting her down. That's a good push and pull technique, that is. Mrs. Holden then shows in the kitchen. They both get a bit freaked out. He just had a jibe at her drinking, but to get over this vision of Miss Holden, he says, let's just have a scotch.
Yeah, the only thing you can do when you've seen a dead body in a kitchen is have a drink. Yes. Everyone knows this.
Absolutely. Like I say, because they don't know where they're going, journalist Pete now and Mary, even because they've got out and looked at their map, they still don't know the way, so they stop off again and they talk to a priest for directions. And you got that classic, I'm a priest and you shouldn't be going where you're going kind of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't trying very hard though, was he?
No. Then we get a really weird bit, which I think, again, if you're going for what the themes of this movie are, is even though the dead are rising from their graves and the end of the world is coming, really, you've got to be most wary still of people.
Okay.
Bob, sex doll enthusiast Bob, he's hiding out in a car in someone else's garage. It turns out it's this woman called Anne, this girl called Anne. I don't know who Anne is. Turns out it's one of his friends, I guess. She gets in the car. He's trying to explain stuff. Also, Anne's dad walks in.
Yeah.
Anne
one of the barflies, I think.
Right. Anne runs away, and then we get the infamous drill scene.
Oh, it's infamous, is it? Generally.
Well, you saw it. It's just been put up here.
It. Yeah.
We're not even going to show it all because, you should see it for yourself. What the hell was this?
You also haven't mentioned, because there was this whole allegation, the reason Bob was such an outcast was because they kept mentioning some alleged misconduct between Bob and that girl who was just in the car. And obviously from the way they were interacting, it doesn't seem like anything bad happened, but all the adults think that he did something to her. Maybe
he was keeping her in a fireplace. He treats his women the same that he treats his sex doll.
She didn't seem to mind from the way she was treating him.
She didn't. No, like I said, push and pull, treat him mean, keep him keen.
But she did run away, like you said, as soon as her dad came and started shouting. And this drill scene is like the slowest build-up to a drill kill I've ever seen. Felt
good tension.
Plus, the tip of the drill was like flat, not sharp. So I was like, God, you'd have to use so much pressure, and that would just makes it even worse.
Good drill press scene though. There was the other, was it called The Intruder or something, where they're in a supermarket hiding out at night and some guy's going around killing everybody.
That was a great movie.
That was a great movie. It had a drill press scene in it as well. So now our heroes, they're a foursome now. Sandra and Jerry, Mary and Pete. They're all in Dunwich. They're all having a conversation. They're like, what do you know about Father Thomas? And Jerry's like, Father Thomas? All of a sudden, the window blows open and there's a maggot infestation whirlwind.
Yeah. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Can you imagine having to act this? So gross. Just having maggots pelted at you.
The maggot fun is ended because John's on the blower. He's like, you got to come and help me because Emily has murdered my parents. How does little John know where everyone is? And how does he know the number? It's got to be a rotary phone, isn't it?
Kids were just more advanced.
We get back to then. We get shown a shot of John then making this phone call, and it's almost like the ceiling has grown his fleshy wound and it's dripping blood into his glass of milk. Grossed me out, that did.
Yeah.
So they go and rescue John and they drive to the funeral home. Sandra then goes with little John to the studio while Pete and Mary go into the funeral homes. They've got to stop this thing for All Saints Day, like we said. Dead Emily, though, she's waiting at the studio for Sandra and little John, and she comes out and
Yeah, I
rips
didn't
out
see that
rips
coming,
out the
actually.
back of Sandra's head, and all of her brains come out.
It's like that weird like Play-Doh thing when you grab a big hunk of it and it just comes like oozing out from between your fingers. That's kind of what it looked like, but bubbling.
I did enjoy the brain squeezing. State of emergency in Dunwich now. It comes over the radio. The barflies have all heard it, and there's zombies all outside the bar. So they're gonna obviously you'll end up brown bread. It's All Saints Day. It's already All Saints Day. They're too late. Like they mention it. All Saints Day is here. It's past midnight. So Jerry and Pete and Mary, they go and open Father Thomas's tomb.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem very smart. Jerry gets in, followed by the other two, and they find that the tomb is broken on the other side.
Someone
So
tried
they
to
decide
get out.
to walk through the other side and end up in these kind of caves. And Emily appears. And it's in the cave, lit like blue. It's like Renee coming out of the other dimension in Heathen, may I say. And she ends up behind one of the dudes, and he gets his head ripped out as well. It's Pete. He's had his brains ripped out, and then she then starts to eye bleed Mary.
Yeah, why is it always the women getting the eye bleed?
She's about to eye bleed more. Maybe it's a thing about women bleed.
Yeah, because men don't bleed.
No, I'm talking about cyclically.
What's that got to do with it?
I'm just reading into it. We've got a blow up sex doll in the fireplace. Okay?
Yeah.
There's obviously bigger themes at play here. Because why is that there otherwise?
Because Bob's a wrong un. That's why the sex
No, but a
doll's
wrong one
there.
doesn't keep a blow up doll in the fireplace, and also what is we've seen it twice already. Why would you film it blowing up against the wall? So it's Father Thomas appears as well. He starts bleeding someone's eyes. I think Mary's eyes. So Jerry, he's already offed Emily just by stabbing her in the stomach. Now he just does the same thing to Father Thomas, and he bursts into flame. And then everyone around him bursts into flame, all the other zombies and stuff. There's just flame everywhere,
Yeah.
along with all the other dead bodies.
I'm pretty sure he stabs the priest with like a massive wooden crucifix, though.
Yeah,
Which is
but
more symbolic.
It's just too much like Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, where they built up one of the werewolf women, and at the end just takes a quick stab to the stomach, and that's it. It's the end of her.
Done.
You know, exactly. There's no thought into this. Luckily, they both escape now, and above ground, we've got the ending. Little John. He's released by the police, and he runs towards the camera to a smiling Mary and Jerry, and then all of a sudden it's like, no. And I don't get it. And the screen cracks as well. I think what they're saying is, okay, this was real. The screen is cracking, so they are forever stuck in this film, in this loop. The other theory is that the makeup effect of the boy being a zombie didn't work, so they just filmed him with a regular face smiling and kept the original ending of he's supposed to be running towards them like a zombie, and the evil is carrying on.
Yeah, I think because it's so difficult to kind of understand what the hell the plot really is beyond the most basic bits, the ending was just so confusing to me. I have no idea what it's supposed to signify. I'm sure if I sat down and watched it a few more times, I'd pick up little clues.
No,
but
you wouldn't.
It really did
Believe
just
me, you
feel
wouldn't.
super random.
Was it anything to do with the blow-up doll?
I don't think so.
We'll revisit that possibly.
Okay.
So let's get on to the second feature in the unofficial trilogy, The Beyond. I almost put The Beyond top simply because it has a way better ending than City of the Living Dead, but The Beyond doesn't have a blow-up doll in the fireplace.
But The Beyond is also about some book and a gate to
Yeah.
hell, exactly like the previous film.
It's the same.
But
It's
it's the same.
It's just the same.
I was like, maybe some guy pitched an idea. Obviously, it doesn't work in this case because they're both Lucio Fulci. But imagine a pitching room. Someone's like, here's my concept. And then two different directors went off, wrote a script, and made a movie. And that's these two.
Or I guess just stick to what you know. If people like City of the Living Dead, then I'm just going to do the same thing for The Beyond. But a little bit different. Opening shot on this is great. Hotel. It reminds me of it's a heatheny look, certainly. And there's these people rowing boats towards this hotel. It's Louisiana, 1927. They go into the hotel. They come across this guy called Schweik, who is a warlock / artist, and he's painting. And then this mob, they chain him in the face, and his face splits apart at the side and stuff. And they beat him up a bit more, and they end up crucifying him to the wall. And yeah, it doesn't end well for old Schweik,
And then
does
what
it?
is that end bit? Like hot wax or something they pour over him and partially melt him?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be hot wax that they put on him for his face melting.
Exactly.
Not the first instance of face melting the last instance of face melting in these movies either.
Yeah, this was pretty gruesome, but I was like, again, they do mention, like, oh, this guy's a wizard or whatever.
A warlock.
A warlock.
Just because you're obsessed
But
with wizards.
I don't really know why they're lynching him.
Well, because he is apparently opening the gates of hell. Yeah, with his crazy art and being a warlock. He's doing the dark arts and all that. And there's that book, like you mentioned, the Ebon, The Prophecies of Ebon. This hotel, a woman in modern day called Liza, she inherits the hotel. And quickly stuff starts going wrong in the hotel. You know, she's got to paint a decorator around. He sees a milky-eyed lady in the window, and he falls off. When he falls off, he's like coming to. We've got an instance of bad dubbing. He's like, the eyes! Kind of because he's seen his milky eyes, and that's what's made him fall off.
I wasn't going to mention anything about the dubbing until the final film we review, but
I wonder what you could be referring to there.
but I will say that is this just like, well, why? Why are all these films recorded in English, but then still dubbed over? It's so strange.
It's just what the audience expects.
But I
what we
didn't
need
actually, I didn't mind it really for the first two films. It was all right.
No, I didn't mind it for
It's
the
just
first two films
strange.
either. Then it took a strange...
And the voice actors did a really good job, to be fair. When we've seen other dubbed stuff, you just wonder where the hell they got these people from, because they can't act.
Really good might be a stretch, but decent. Decent
good.
for what it is. Dr. John turns up. He takes this eye man to the hospital. And Liza, she's got a friend, forgotten his name. He finds the painting in the house, which the warlock made all those years ago. Joe the plumber shows up. What I like about Joe the plumber is he just walks in, puts a fag in his mouth, and he's like, hey, you want one? It's like back in the day, everyone just smoked. So you ain't got to ask to light up in someone's house. Weird Marsha is also in the basement. Remember Marsha?
Yeah,
I think
she like came with the hotel or something, and so did some dude. That's what we find out later on.
I'm not sure if that's Marsha.
Oh.
But Joe gets to work in the basement. He hammers through the wall, and the wall's kind of gooey. It's like almost like the wall is melting. And Liza also catches this weird guy called Arthur in her room. Just some weird dude who's looking
he's
for
the
keys.
dude he's definitely the one who's been inherited with the hotel.
He's asking about Joe for some reason, and he's downstairs fingering a wall, a gooey wall. And his hand comes out of the gooey wall and gouges his face, and his eye pops out.
It's quite a funny effect, actually.
There's a lot of eye stuff in this. You know, in the previous movie, there were just constant eye close-ups. Like, here's Father Thomas's eyes. Here's his victim's eyes. Back to his eyes. Back to her eyes. It's just eyes.
Again, a very Fulci thing that he does across all of the movies, but the first one was the one, actually, that really made me see it. But then again, it was the first one.
I mean, is it just too much of a obvious tactic?
Well, a close-up on the eyes can be brilliant, but I think it's one of those shots that you probably should just keep for the right moments.
So it has some effect.
Whereas, yeah, in these films, he was doing it a lot.
A lot.
I wonder if that helped the ADR, though.
Lies on the drive now, down some weird isolated bridge with water either side of her, and just standing in the middle of the road is a woman with milky eyes called Emily, and her dog Dickie. Dickie the dog. She claims to know Liza. So she's like, I'm Emily, and I've been looking for you. And she takes her to this magnificent Louisiana property. And kind of like shows her around. They get to know each other. Marsha is now in the basement back in the original house, and she's looking for Joe the plumber, who's had his face gouged out. And now his insides are coming out of his mouth. So there's more insides out.
So grim.
Good. Emily tells Liza that she must give up this hotel. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen.
But she can't explain.
This place. Dr. John hasn't just got one, like, zombified patient. he's got a whole room of zombified patients. And he's with his assistant, Dr. Harris, and one of these zombies has a boop, boop sign of life going through the machine, which they both
Brainwave.
haven't seen. Right? Marsha, she turns up to see Joe. Marsha is Joe's wife. And I believe that they are the parents of that little redhead girl, Jill. She's there to see Joe, and she cries out, and her daughter runs into the room and sees just acid spilling into her mother's face.
Yeah.
And her face melts. Let's keep these face melting scenes coming.
I also enjoyed the fizzy, bloody puddle of acid just going towards the little girl's feet.
It just made me think that she's been eating Pop Rocks beforehand, and this is why she's all fizzed up.
No, it's just the acid. Duh.
Little Jill then runs into a zombie, not a reanimated zombie, just a dead zombie that falls out of a cupboard, and we see her scream. We're not quite sure what's happened to her, but don't worry, because it's cocktail hour in New Orleans now, which I believe lasts just around the clock, just forever. And it's,
So you'll be right at home.
Dr. John and Liza having a drink, but very quickly Dr. John gets a distressing call about what's happened in his autopsy room with Jill and her parents. So they go to the funeral now. Jill's there, and what they don't notice at the funeral is that Jill now also has milky eyes. Liza's in trouble now, because Emily's already told her you should leave this place. She now gives her a big spiel, you know, because you've already messed up. Now I'm going to give it to you big times, like, Liza, why didn't you listen to me, Liza? You know, being very patronising, most constantly saying her name over and over again. She's like, now I'll have to tell you everything. And the story goes on, like 60 years ago, everybody in his hotel disappeared, and a painter called Schweik, who lived here, found a key to the 7 gateways to hell. And also Emily can now sense Schweik in the house, and the doorbell, dee dee dee, for room 36 in the hotel rings. Liza is told by Emily, don't ever enter room 36. So straight away she goes and breaks into room 36.
That is a proven thing. If you tell someone not to do something, they're going to be more likely to do it. So that was just her bad call.
When she goes in there, she finds that book of Ebon, and a wardrobe opens and she sees a crucified corpse. Got to be Schweik, and what are the chances that there's been a second guy in there? Dr. John comes home, but guess what? The corpse ain't there.
No.
Corpse is not there.
The nails are, though.
It's that typical trope, isn't it? Oh, I saw this. Man or a friend comes in. Why won't you believe me? Yeah, do you know? There's none of that. You know, I saw this. Oh, it's not here anymore. You must be crazy and heathen. It's just far too easy, far too easy and lazy. He also talks about Emily. He's like, well, where's Emily? Where's this book? Where's Emily? The book has disappeared. She sounds like she's like 70% of other women, according to Dr. Jerry in the previous one. Women are just hysterical and don't make any sense, right? This is a constant comment running through Fulci's themes here. Emily's back at the piano. Remember, she played piano a lot, didn't she?
She did.
Somberly.
Which is obviously cooler because she's blind.
Dun. Liza is now out with her friend. I think his name's Larry. At first I thought it was an architect, because he goes to that like library and he's looking for the Book of Ebon, or he finds the Book of Ebon. He opens it up. He sees something about the hotel, falls off a ladder in the library, and uh-oh. If you're arachnophobic, probably best to look away now.
I would like to mention that I think he was just looking for the ground plans of the building of the hotel rather than the Book of Ebon. But yeah, this tarantula scene had some real live tarantulas, which do just move in such a weird way.
Which means
for us,
some
don't they?
real tarantulas.
Because also in every shot, and there were many shots of this, we had little tarantula puppets along with the real tarantulas. And even though for most of the moving shots they were kind of in the background, half blurred out, it was so obvious that they had like 2 real tarantulas. And then just someone doing this with some tarantula puppet thing.
All the tarantulas...
It made it so much less creepy.
They make his way towards his head. Because Larry's still alive on the floor. He's just kind of knocked out, incapacitated. And spider legs start going into his mouth. Stuff like this. And it's mostly the puppet spider, which is doing most of the damage. It's digging its fangs in, making his lips bleed, ripping his lips off.
Eating his eyeball.
His eyeball, yeah. And then finally his tongue. And then his whole face just falls apart. That's what you get, Larry. You know, I used to be obsessed with tarantulas when I was a kid. Tarantulas and king cobras. Don't know why. We're talking about tarantulas. They look kind of cute in this, I thought.
It's the way they move that is the weirdest thing. And yeah, if I know that they're not dangerous in any way, then I'm fine with them. But even so, like, I'm not someone who's scared of spiders, generally. But I don't like spiders walking on me. There's something weird about the
Or if they're going to walk on me, make themselves known first. Don't just get on me. 'Cause it's like, yeah. Dr. John, he now goes to the house where he says that Emily doesn't live because she doesn't exist. He has to break in. He now finds the Book of Ebon and he reads about the gateway to hell. You know, this is the Gates of Hell trilogy. Yeah. Marsha, she goes to clean room 36 and she unplugs the bath. Joe's in there.
gross.
And guess what? There's a nail protruding out the wall. Out comes her eye. Eyes coming out again. Close-ups on eyes or just eyes coming out. Either way, he wants it.
He wants the eyes.
That's what the people want. Dr. John has got the book with him and he's in hospital now. He's inspecting the dead bodies and he's noticed some mark on one of the dead bodies' arms.
Right.
And this mark was found in the basement by Joe. Doesn't seem like
Some symbol.
Doesn't seem like a lot of work has gone into this symbol.
Was it a pre-existing symbol
To me.
that they've used? Maybe?
Not that I could tell. No.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Emily's blind, right? So that's why she can tell everything because blind people know stuff, don't they? She's in the house and she's being spooked because something plays her piano, and it's not her. And she trips up on the floor because there's loads of zombies starting to appear around her. Luckily for her, though, she's got Dickie the dog with her,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Dickie, attack, Dickie!" So Dickie, he goes and mauls all these zombies. He's done his job. He comes back to Emily.
Covered in blood and gore.
Yeah, his mane is rough, is all wet,
His
isn't
head,
it?
everything.
And she's like, good boy, but he's still hungry.
Some paper mache.
Dog's eating his face. Not her face, her neck.
Yeah.
As you can see, he fully rips her neck out. Not done there, rips her ear off as well. And just wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous, squirting blood. Wouldn't you say?
I would say I was very distracted by the clearly fake dog's jaws, much like the tarantulas. Not the best effect I've ever seen.
What I liked was Dickie didn't die, he just changed. So he gets to thrive.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That weirdo bloke from the beginning, so his name's Arthur. He's now found in the basement by Liza. He attacks her. She escapes, and as she runs upstairs, she runs into Dr. John. Once again, she's like, oh, Arthur was down there, he was attacking me. And at this point, he's had enough of her cock and bull stories. Because she's like 70% of women, just hysterical, just making it up in her mind. A doctor said that. I'm not a doctor. Jerry was. Dr. John says, look, I've read the book. He's just gone through the whole thing. The Book of Ebon. And he says he wants to see Arthur. Show me Arthur where he's just attacked you. Of course, nothing's down there. But a storm does happen, though. A storm starts to happen. But even this isn't enough to convince Dr. John something's going on. He goes back to his office, to his autopsy room. He's like, I'm a doctor. I need a rational answer as to what is happening here, to these for explanation. So he wants to call the FBI. But as soon as he gets on the blower to the FBI, here come the zombies. And Dr. John just seems to have an unlimited amount of ammo. From like a 6-shooter gun, it seems.
He's also just shooting willy-nilly, which I don't appreciate.
Yeah, willy-nilly like this. And I say, at one point he runs out of bullets and just seems to get them back. For no reason. He also runs into his assistant and he's quickly demolished. And Dr. Harris, he's done for. Liza then runs into Jill, little girl Jill, into the autopsy room, embraces her, still doesn't see her milky eyes, doesn't know that she's got milky eyes yet. And McCabe, it's now that McCabe finds Dr. Harris, who gets glass in his face. He gets glass in his face. That's pretty cool. Schweik shows. Schweik is here now, the painter / warlock. He's in the autopsy room and he's impervious to bullets.
Yeah, he's like a super zombie.
This never-ending ammo keeps going on. And while Dr. John's dealing with this, he's taking his eye off little Jill, who's now revealed herself, and she puts her fingers into Liza's eyes. And this is like the best part of the movie, where Dr. John, without even thinking, just turns around and blows Jill's face off. Woohoo! Take that, Jill.
Yeah, well, it's a shame. I thought the performance was enjoyable to watch.
I'm just talking about her face being blown apart.
Yeah.
What an effect that was. And let's just blow away a 9-year-old child, dead or not. They escape this, sans Jill, because she's had her face mangled by a bullet. And they end up in the basement of the hotel. Impossible, they say. And what's happening? Why are we here? And they walk through this desolate wasteland with all these moaning voices and bodies. And they end up coming to the end of this desolate wasteland. And they've both got milky eyes. And as the camera pulls out, it's the painting. It's the Warlock's painting.
Yeah, I quite liked that
So what does that
imagery,
mean?
actually, of, like, this idea of hell. Because how many times have you seen hell and it's just, like, fire everywhere?
This one is just bodies laid across the floor.
In varying
very
degrees
grey.
of buried and not, I think.
And grey is the colour that entices most depressed people. They're obsessive greys. So what was that saying to you?
That Lucio Fulci has a very interesting idea of hell. And I appreciate that.
Just that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's like, hell isn't just for the dead people, it's also for the living. Yeah?
Right.
Yes. So now, third place for both of us. House by the Cemetery, which kind of has a somewhat stellar reputation.
Oh, really?
No, Fulci is reviled or revered. It seems like there's nothing in between.
Good. That's the way to be.
I suppose so, but I was more like, some of this is good, some of this not so much. I did not think this was a very good film.
No, I'll be honest. This one, at certain points to me, was actually quite boring.
Boring, yes, I found the same thing. It
Okay.
dragged on for a while.
I wasn't sure if it was just me because I was tired, but yeah, I wasn't engaged for most of it.
Especially after the two that's come before it.
Yeah.
You know, tarantulas
I mean,
eating
there's
faces.
no book in this. Where's the book at?
Where's the book? Where's the blow up doll at?
Where's the blow up
Wanted the
doll
return
at?
of the blow up doll.
And also, this was the only one where they completely lost me with the ADR.
Yes, but who is back though? The lady who plays Liza in The Beyond, and she also plays someone in City of Living Dead. Catriona McCall, she's in all three of these. Recurring, just playing different people in every single one. I remember this opening, and the first thing I see is some woman gets a knife through the back of the head and out of her mouth, and then she's dragged away. So good start.
Oh, yeah, this was also the one where literally after the very first short establishing shot, and we go in on that woman who gets knifed, just instant titty. I think it's the only breast.
Do you know, for
shot that we see.
once, I was going to skip over that, but I had, it's my first note. I've written House by the Cemetery, 1981, 40 seconds, tits. And yeah, I was like, finally, we had 2 whole movies without them.
2 whole Italian movies with no
2 whole
bosom.
Italian movies and no boobies.
But I think this was also the first and last instance of bare
Yeah,
breast.
and even with breast, gratuitous breast, is still rock bottom for me.
It was too quick.
Not even breast could save it. There's Dr. Boyle, Mrs. Boyle, and their little kid, their idiot son, Bobby. Bob the kid. He looks like a Swede, doesn't he?
He looks very Aryan.
He does look, he's like the master race, little Bob, isn't he?
And he also looked to be, again, I'm not good with putting the ages with kids, but I would have said maybe like 5.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the person doing ADR for him is like 10. It was strange.
No, the person doing ADR for him is about 37. And it's a woman. It's a 37-year-old woman.
No wonder it was so off-putting.
I'm not saying it was a 37-year-old, I'm just saying it was a 37-year-old woman, something like that. It's a grown woman doing his voice.
I saw her face. She was waving. I could read her mouth.
And did she say anything to you?
Yep, she said that I shouldn't go over there. Why did she say that, Mommy?
It's just terrible. How did they manage to have the kids in the previous 2 films and it worked fine, and in this one it was just instantly like, oh no, I don't want this kid to have any dialogue because I can't hear this ADR.
Little Bobby opens his mouth. He's like, Mummy, why do I keep seeing this little girl in Massachusetts? She keeps telling me not to come to Massachusetts. But because Dr. Boyle has got a new job in Massachusetts, in the house by the cemetery, and Dr. Boyle and his wife, they just go there and sign the papers sight unseen. They don't even look at the property.
They're only staying for a few months though. And I believe it was his colleague who's passed away who was already in that place.
It
So I
is.
guess he was just assuming that it must be of a certain level.
So they're on their way. They'll be relocating to the house by the cemetery. And by the way, having this house by the cemetery bears no you know, it has no bearing on the movie, on the story. It's just there to be like, oh, cemeteries are eerie. Let's just call it House by the Cemetery, and then it's actually about the basement.
But the basement's kind of in the
basement in the
cemetery,
house,
isn't it?
but it's not. No, it's not close enough.
No.
It's not. No, because you don't need one of the. You only need one or the other. Like, it doesn't add anything.
I mean, this one to me
That
was
is something in the
certainly the
basement.
one that I didn't understand basically any of the plot. I was like, what are we waiting to happen here? Where is
This
going?
little girl that little Bobby's been seeing.
Yes.
She's already in Massachusetts. Her name is May, and she's like window shopping. And this woman's mannequin's head just,
Topples off.
yeah, there goes her head. What was that?
I don't know. And even later, so I'll already mention it now, the mannequin looks very much like a character that comes into the film. And I was trying to think, what has this got to do with it? And I couldn't really figure it out. I have no idea. Plus, is May just a spirit? I think she is, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So why is there a spirit being freaked out by a decapitated, bloody mannequin?
Was she that freaked out? You know, like I said, that this mannequin does look like someone who ends up in this movie, but just for the time being, I've forgotten what his name. What's your name again?
My name is Bob.
Fuck you, Bob. I hate Bob. And his stupid voice. So as you mentioned, this mannequin looks like this lady. This lady, forgotten her name, but she shows up at the house by the cemetery and just introduces herself to Mrs. Boyle. She's like, I've been sent by Mrs. Giddleman, who is their real estate agent. And she's like, all right then.
Yeah, she's supposed to be the nanny.
Yeah, she's like an omen nanny. She's weird. You can tell
She
straight away that
is.
she's weird. And
She's way too hot to have as a nanny.
at least the omen nanny was, you know, she was acting normal, like to fit in. This nanny comes along, mannequin nanny, and just weirds me out anyway. Like, why would you let her
Nannykin.
into your house?
Well, they're clearly very trusting. Like you said, they went sight unseen to live somewhere for months on end, and now they've just been like, oh, okay, you're the nanny, cool, that'll do.
If that's not enough, they've already been, you know, haven't even looked at the house. Bobby's getting messages not to come. It's adults ignoring children, isn't that? That's a theme of Fulci's movies. Children always get ignored. And now there's a bat attack, a stupid bat attack. You thought the puppet for the tarantula was, quite funny. This was just not good. Because a bat attack should be good. And what makes it even worse is little Bobby says something.
Yeah,
it just ruins
anytime
it.
Bobby speaks, it's worse.
Anytime Bobby speaks, it's worse. And yeah, this bat attack takes place. It ends to no real consequence. Now they decide they want out the house. They go and see Mrs. Giddleman. They're like, look, we don't want to stay here anymore. She's like, no problem, I'll just get you another house, which probably isn't by a cemetery. Next thing you know, Mrs. Giddleman, she goes to their house, she's looking for them. She's off, she gets poked in the neck.
By who?
So she must be the only real estate agent in town, because they can't go and see anybody else. So we decided, we'll just stay in the house by the cemetery now. The mannequin nanny, who's been acting weird in the house and just shows up and is allowed to stay, she's been doing things around the house, but she's also been cleaning up after whatever is in the basement. So we kind of like think that she's in cahoots with whatever it is.
Is that what she's been doing?
Well, like I said, she was supposed to be like... she appears to be like the omen nanny with the Rottweiler who's there to look after Damien. So she knows what the evil is going on. And this is the kind of the way that she was filmed, the way that she was presented. She knows what's going on. And yet she ends up down in the basement because of stupid Bob. And the entity just kills her. And while she's being killed, she's being decapitated by a knife. And it's intercut with Bobby, little Bob. He notices this, he hears the screams, and he just picks up a pink plastic gun, grabs a teddy and starts walking around.
Yeah.
It looks silly.
It was very strange. And like you said, I got the feeling that she was on the evil side or whatever. I don't even know. You're like, oh, someone killed them. I'm like, who was this person? And she seemed like she was on their side. But then, yeah, why was she suddenly attacked by them? What is this character? What's the point of this character?
Well, she's dead now, so who cares? And little Bobby, he's heard all this in the basement, so now he goes into the basement. The nanny's head comes rolling down the stairs. He freaks out, and he runs back up to the door. He gets outside and traps his arm in the door and just keeps banging the door against his arm in this ADR dialogue, which does not suit what is going on the screen whatsoever. And like I said, Bob is an idiot. He's old enough to know that, I've just got to open the door a little bit, let my arm back in, because this entity is very slowly walking up the stairs. Everyone could have got away from this entity.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be insinuated, though, that there's some kind of supernatural force trying to close the door on him. Because I don't think it's a case of him slamming the door on him his own arm. No?
No.
But because the door closes by itself and locks by itself to trap those people in.
It's Dr. Freudstein. He's the one that's down in the basement because, like I said, Dr. Boyle's colleague has been at the house. Dr. Boyle finds these tapes of his former colleague's ramblings, and he offed himself in the house because of what Dr. Freudstein had been doing, experiments or whatever. Like Freudstein.
Yeah, I do. I was thinking about it, actually. I was like, Happy Stone. Freudstein.
Look at another instance of Bob being an idiot, right? He's just seen a decapitated head in the basement. He tries to run away from it. Next thing you do, he goes back to the basement. While he's in the basement this time, he's being attacked again, and he gets himself to the door. His parents are on the other side of the door. His dad's a bit of an idiot as well. He grabs an axe, and instead of just axing the top of the door, he axes right where little Bobby's face is, and we see the axe go through the door and almost slicing off Bobby.
Yeah, because the weird hand thing of Dr. Freudstein apparently is holding Bobby's face against the door as well. But Bobby doesn't say anything either. He's just there like...
He's being a 37-year-old woman.
Also, the guy, like, he keeps axing the door for ages, and it was so frustrating. I was like, just axe close to where the lock is, because just doing one axe here and there is not going to do anything.
It wasn't here and there, it was just, let's just put it as close to my son's head as possible. Once he plays the tapes of his former colleagues' ramblings, previously we've also seen Dr. Freudstein's tomb is built into the floorboards, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's there. And even though his tomb is there, he's told by a local that there is no Dr. Freudstein. So is Dr. Freudstein there? Is he not? Is he just a myth?
Or they're just saying that people aren't buried where it says they're buried.
I'd like to hear from Bob.
Which, again, I don't understand.
Bob the child. Bobby.
My name is Bob.
Bobby. He's down in the basement again. Just, what's he doing? What kid sees a beheaded person in the basement and just thinks, I want some more of that, even though I've been crapping my little pants trying to get out. So he's back down there again. He sees some glowing eyes in the basement. And Lucy Boyle, his mum, she's struggling to gain entrance to it. Freudstein manages to get upright. This is kind of like the first time we see Freudstein. And there's just not much to him. He can't do anything, can he? He doesn't move at any pace. You could just step to the side of him at any time, and he
He's
could
like
never
a proper
get.
old school zombie, isn't he?
People just wait to be got by him.
But also, I'm pretty sure at this point he's only got one arm as well, because the dad...
He has only got one arm.
Managed to not axe his son in the head, but he did axe one of the arms off.
Bobby comes across the rest of the dead bodies. They're being hung from the beams. Everybody's there, like Mrs. Gittleman, so forth. Some of their faces missing and stuff like this. And Freudstein then attacks Bobby's dad, Dr. Boyle, and Boyle stabs him. And this is the most interesting part about Freudstein. When he gets stabbed, all of these maggots come out the side of his body.
Disgusting.
But Freudstein doesn't like that, so he rips out Boyle's throat. So now Bobby's seen his dad's throat ripped out. Him and his mum are trying to escape. His mum is dragged back down. She's dead. Luckily, though, little Bob, he gets out because he's pulled through by May, the little ghost girl. And she's there with Freudstein's wife. And she's like, look,
right.
I have taken you away from the horrors of the real world. And you will reside with us here in the afterlife, where Dr. Freudstein can never get you, but you will be part of the lore of Freudstein. You know, he's going to be there knowing what Freudstein's doing. And he's probably never going to grow up, is he? And there's a bit where just Bobby walks off looking back.
I'm so confused. And they're also mentioning at times that down here in this basement full of bodies, that Dr. Freudstein, this zombie thing, needed to kill people to survive. But again, I was like, you just keep giving me little bits of information, but it doesn't really seem like it comes together in any way.
Does he just need to kill them? If he kills people, will he then regenerate? Does he need to kill them and eat them? Does he need,
Is he dead? Is he seriously old? I just don't know. Is he a spirit? I
felt like by this point in the trilogy, it was just, okay, we had a couple of movies with no real story, just a load of gore, and, you know, I like that. But at this point, I thought you run out of ideas and it's a bit lazy.
There's also just not enough happening.
And Bob's in it. You can't watch the movie with Bob in it, can you? Bob just ruins the entire film.
It's horrible.
He absolutely ruins
I
the film.
didn't love the voice for May either.
No.
But, yeah, Bobby that was just horrendous.
May could possibly be Jill. You know, both red-haired girls. I wish someone had blown her head off as well in this. That would have been good. But, you know, if you don't understand the movie, I think it's wrapped up nicely at the end to where we do understand it, because a quote comes across the screen and it says, "No one will ever know whether children are monsters or monsters are children, Henry James."
I don't get it.
No, but, you know, not bad. Not bad, these three movies. It's first two anyway, I like. Did you like the first two?
I did.
Yeah,
I did enjoy.
I did like them. You know, he's in the top three, isn't he? With it's Bava, Fulci, Argento. They're the trilogy. They're all quite different, all same in certain ways as well. And of course, Michele Soavi, he was great too. But this I was disappointed by House by the Cemetery.
Yes. This one I would just never watch again. The other two I would.
I'd absolutely watch the other two again, yeah. And more Fulci as well, yeah. Good stuff.